I was really fortunate. I grew up in an environment where I heard about Christ from the time I was little. My grandfather was a minister, and we'd go to his church on Sundays a lot. I have two uncles that were ministers. My mom taught Sunday school, so I always heard about this Jesus Christ person. I accepted Christ when I was a real young kid, just because everybody I knew did. But it really wasn't until I got to Pittsburgh as a rookie, 21 years old, I think, when I really started growing as a Christian. I'd kind of gotten into an academic, athletic life in high school and college, and wasn't a bad person, but that was my focus. I came to Pittsburgh, and these were guys I had watched on TV and admired from afar. And when I got there, they were different from anybody I'd been around. There were about 12 guys that took me under their wing, and they lived Jesus Christ every day, on the field, in the locker room, at home with their wives, everything. And I thought, you know, that's how ministers are supposed to live. That's not the real world. But these guys were at the top of their profession, and they were such strong Christians. I realized that I had taken the salvation part of it, but I hadn't let Christ be the Lord in my life. So then, going to Bible studies, hanging out with these guys, really making that commitment to grow, I think it happened to me when I was 21.
The next guy has clearly had opportunities to share the importance of Jesus Christ in his life, but he never grows tired of doing that. Albert Pujols.
Thank you. Unlike some of these guys, I grew up in the Dominican Republic. I never went to church down there. I had the opportunity in 1998, to meet my wife, and she introduced me to Christ. At that time, I made the best decision of my life. When I was 17, I was struggling. My mom and dad, I came from a divorce. They divorced when I was young. So I had a rough life, just like a lot of us have sometime. And I believe that something was missing in my heart, and that was the relationship with Christ. In 1998, I decided to walk with Christ and just let him to take control of my life. I never thought that he was going to take me to a place, that I can't even imagine. Playing here in St. Louis in front of 45,000 people, every day taking the field, not just to represent the Cardinal, but representing Christ, which is the most important thing in my life. And then no matter to all the struggle that we go through our life, this year has been a challenging year for me because, everything has been so easy in baseball. Great career so far. And this year, the season hasn't been the way I wanted to, the way we wanted to. But you know what? We stay strong together. We're being accountable to each other. We get together every Wednesday and open the Bible and just to grow, because we know that it's more than baseball. Our life and our time here on earth is so short. Our time is like number, and we want to take advantage every day because we don't know if tomorrow we're going to be here. And I encourage you guys to make that decision today. If you don't know Christ, give God the opportunity to take control of your life like he did to me, and just let him to take control of that gear, and he's going to take you to a different level. Don't only praise him when everything is going good, but when things are going bad too. One thing that I learned is that God is always there for us. Sometimes we are so selfish that we want to turn around, and blame God for things that happen in our life. And that's not the way they should be. God is always there for us, and he loves us no matter what. So I want to encourage you guys to take that opportunity today, if you don't know Christ, and let him take control of your life. Be blessed.
Well said. Albert Pujols.
Some of the things that you've been teaching these kids through the AC Green Foundation are pretty amazing. What have you been teaching those kids?
Jim, what I try and really focus on is it's a character building camp. It's really life skills, okay? Because most camps you go and you get the physical skills, but you really don't bring in the other component as far as the character. You don't really focus on integrity. You don't really focus on, doing things the right way. You do things the fun way, but you don't, and maybe the popular way, but maybe not the right way. Well, just like in basketball, you can develop bad habits, but you do them over and over and over again, it's still a bad habit, you just perfected it. Well, in basketball also, but also in life, you know, if you do those same things, you're just doing bad habits the same way. So I'm working now, and I'm trying to, for the last 20 years, we're working on, hey, let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to saying please. Let's get back to saying thank you. Let's get back to saying, you know what, I don't mind. I'm not afraid to say I love you, Mom. I'm not afraid to say I love you, Dad. You know, just the simple little things, and there's a way you go about showing appreciation and respect. And so I go back and I'm hammering on things that parents are already saying, but it's going in here and coming out of there. And so I'm like, okay, stay just for a second, and hopefully it'll settle down right there. And that's what we try and do. I take the kids out on field trips also, because a lot of the kids, you know, they are from underprivileged background situations, so they're looking for hope. They feel like they're in a hopeless place. They don't know what the next meal might be coming from, or they see the struggle within the family, and they're like, okay, how, you know, I don't want that. I'm tired of gunfire. I'm tired of graffiti around my neighborhood. These are the kind of things I hear consistently. Okay, well, they want to change. They don't know what they're going to use, what method they're going to use to make a change. So I take the kids out. I teach them basketball the first half of the session in a course of a day. The second half, I take them to a business. I take them to some employment. I talk to the manager, the CEO, the GM, and they come out and they speak to these 100 and something kids on this field trip, and they tell them their story. You know, and they say, hey, I was once where you are, and this is where I am. This is how I worked my way, and I didn't give up. And you know what? It took some time. It wasn't easy, but I went to school. I finished school, and they said, you know, if you really want a chance even to put an application in here, you have to finish high school. You know, and it doesn't mean you have to go to college or be a college graduate, but you have to finish high school. So don't give up on that. And that's perfect for me, because that's where most of my kids are right now. They don't believe they have a lot of hope, but they see someone that they can recognize and identify, and then they're like, you know what, yeah, maybe I can do it. So someone from a Home Depot, a UPS, you know, Rockwell or Boeing Aerospace now, you see some of these bigger companies, you know, a Chipotle, even a restaurant type place, a Sheraton, a Westin hotel, these types of places that kids see all the time. They don't really know what goes on behind the scene. They just go there as a retailer. They go there and it's like, I'm shopping, I'm a consumer, I'm buying this, buying that. But now all of a sudden they get a field trip and they go behind and see what it's like to make these things happen for us, the public. And so now, hey, maybe there's a trade that I'm interested in that. I like graffiti. I like doing things where at Home Depot, hey, I get to spray paint something. I actually get to paint something here with my hands that I don't get in trouble for. It helps. It all helps, and it's been pretty neat.
So what you're doing is you're showing them the behind the scenes of these big businesses. You know, I think it's interesting what's happening in today's economy with all the struggles that's happening, and yet here's AC Green, bigger than life, could work basically with any company, join forces with any company out there in the U.S., and yet AC Green chooses FDI. Why?
Well, I think, once again, it is about treating your fellow man, you know, even better than you would like to treat yourself, okay? And that's really the motto that you really want to try and live by, you know, as far as my household.
Oh, hey.
Really having a family that's intact, you know, that means the most to me in this world. Be able to try and fulfill my destiny and know that I'm on the road to fulfilling what God has called and planned for me to do. And all these things sort of are part of that. But making an impact, not just in my life, but those that I come in contact with, that's what life is all about for me.
AC's impact on young men and women will go far beyond his basketball career. His programs for teaching abstinence before marriage, building self-esteem in children, and responsible decision-making for young adults will impact generations to come. For all the things AC Green is accomplishing in his life, we owe a hearty thanks to AC Green Sr. for showing his son what it means to be a man of integrity.
The Olympic Championships are the most important because they only come after every 4 years. It's not like the World Championship. And once you win a medal in the Olympics, it seems like people keep on remembering. It's not like any other championships. When I got to the Olympics, for sure, I wasn't like 100%. Once we started the race, I just took it very easy, hoping that my body will keep on catching up and loosening up. So once I started seeing people breaking from 25th kilometer, I got kind of scared, but I said, well, I'm sure that God is with me and He's gonna carry me. When my legs could not carry me, He's able to carry me. When I run, I normally feel great and remember how God has blessed me so much. He gives me the talent of which He doesn't charge me anything, you know. It's just a free will gift, you know, and I can just use it the way I want, just for His glory.
At the same time Catherine was making her Olympic debut, young American Allison Felix was gaining a reputation as a sprinter.
My brother ran track in high school, and I've always kind of followed after my brother and just wanted to be just like him. So he really got me into track and field, and I kind of only came out because he did. And after that, I fell in love with it and was really passionate about it.
Her youth is a great asset, and being able to turn professional at the age of 18 is pretty impressive. But I think she didn't take herself too seriously. She embraces competition, but it doesn't define her.
No, I thrive off competition. I love competing against the best women in the world. Just knowing that that's what I wanted to do really kept me motivated.
Allison Felix now has the baton for the USA Red Team.
I had a great experience in Athens. It was amazing. I'll never forget it. I just remember going into the opening ceremonies and just remembering how many people were there and just all the different countries. And I think I've learned just so much from it, and I'll never forget it. It went pretty much like any other race. My start wasn't that great getting out, and I think that's where I really lost a lot of time, and I came on pretty strong, but it wasn't quite enough to make up the difference. I think as soon as I finished the race, I wasn't sure how to take getting the silver. I think when you go into any race, you go into it wanting to win. So it's definitely a little bit of a letdown, but then my family quickly put me into perspective, and I realized what I had accomplished, so it was definitely a success.
Allison was just 18 years old when she won her silver medal in Athens. Catherine had to wait until she was 32 to make it to the Olympics.
My biggest disappointment in my running career is when I didn't make the team for the Olympic year 2000. I did cope with that disappointment. It was so painful, but all I said is that if this is not God's will for me to be there, well, I'll just wait and ask God to give me the grace and the patience to just wait upon Him, because when it comes and it is His time, I'm sure everything will work so well.
The disappointment that I face is pretty much injuries, and my faith really plays a part in that, because I know I'm able to look at the bigger picture, and I'm able to see that, you know, God has a plan for my life, and that this is also part of it. I can't imagine my life without knowing Jesus. You know, I can't imagine waking up and just going through life without Him. So, you know, He is my life, and that's what I live for.